The Braves come in at 51-49, having had victory snatched from them last night by Ross Globe. Same lineup as last night. Nate McLouth, Martin Prado, Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, Garrett Anderson, Yunel Escobar, Casey Kochman, Ryan Church, and Kenshin Kawakami. This is McLouth, and he takes strike one. So says Bill Hahn, who is working the dish tonight, as JJ makes his 21st start of the season. McLouth, the speedy leadoff man acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates. JJ brings a 9-2 record, 7th best ERA in the National League.
He also, Rich, brings a great home record. Josh Johnson 4-1 with a 1.98 ERA at home.
Here's his 2-1 to McLouth. Broken bat, left field. Coughlin comes racing in, and Chris makes the catch. 1 out.
Boy, you talk about consistency, and I've used that term a lot tonight describing Josh Johnson. His ERA every month has been under 3. He starts this game tonight in July with a 2-1 record and a 3 ERA. Every other month, he's under that number.
The Braves have not seen him this year, but they've seen plenty of him in his brief career. And you look at Martin Prado, who has been a difference maker for the Braves, a utility guy that has won the job at second, and as you see by his numbers, has played well. JJ bounces that one up in the dirt. 8 starts for Johnson against the Braves, and he is 3-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Line drive, base hit right field.
Now there's exactly why Martin Prado is in that lineup. He's been on a little bit of a slump, just 3 for 17 prior to that nice swing there. There's the defense tonight for the Marlins. There's Coughlin, Cody, and Jeremy Hermine in the outfield. Bonifacio and Cantu. Hanley and Uggs up the middle, and John Baker behind the plate. So many times, Rich, the Marlins facing the Braves, we're used to seeing Kelly Johnson, a left-handed hitter, playing second base.
And we're so used to seeing Jeff Francoeur in right field in the middle of that lineup. Chipper with the toe tap, got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and was late on it. He wasn't late on the breaking ball that he saw from Ricky Nolasco, and as veteran a hitter as he is, you know he was sitting on one, and he pounced in the 6th inning with a solo shot last night. He jumps on that ball, right center field. Ross and Hermida, and it's Cody who is there and makes the catch. Didn't quite pull that one as much as he pulled the home run against Nolasco. Bobby Cox, an angry man last night at the end of things in his 24th year as Braves manager.
Well, you had laid it out, Rich, the phenomenal run that Soriano had been on. And there were some who said after the game that ball that Ross Globe hit was the hardest ball they'd seen hit off Soriano in a couple of months.
In that sequence, in the 9th inning, in the walk to Cody Ross and early in the count to Globe, the Braves thought Soriano threw a couple of strikes that were called balls. That's why Bobby Cox was so mad at the end. If there's any residual anger from Bobby, well, the man working home plate tonight is Bill Hahn. The last time Bill Hahn worked a game with the Braves, there were some fireworks.
Yeah, he may be one of our favorites, but he's not one of Bobby Cox's. Bobby got tossed. Chipper Jones got tossed. O'Flaherty, the left-hander, got tossed. It was a game in Boston.
Paul Emmel, Gary Darling, Jerry Meals also working with Bill Hahn tonight. McCann looking at a 1-0 pitch. JJ has dialed it up to 97 a few times.
One of the most interesting numbers I came across tonight, because we talked about this Braves team being left-handed dominant. One of the most interesting numbers I saw was the Braves are 31-34 against right-handed pitching.
outside corner. And as left-handed dominant as they are right now, they got more so with McLeod arriving and Francoeur exiting. They still are 10 points better in the batting average against lefties.
Yeah, it's a couple of interesting numbers.
That pitch is out. 2-2. Marlins pitchers have done a much better job in the last week and a half at holding runners, and when they come to the plate, giving their catchers a chance to throw guys out. That was evident on the West Coast. 2-2. Sawed him off. Cantu is there. And Josh Johnson works an uneventful first inning. Marlins get their first swings at Kawakami.
For the Taco Bell.
Bottom of the first, scoreless ball game. Marlins at 52-48. This is game 101. Chris Coghlan in left field. Emilio Bonifacio at third. Hanley Ramirez at short. Cantu's at first. Jeremy Hermita's in right. Dan Uggla's at second. Cody Ross is in center. John Baker behind the plate. And JJ on the mound hitting ninth.
Now you take a look at the 33-year-old veteran of Japanese baseball. Had a tremendous career playing for the Chinichi Dragons. 112 career wins, 6 All-Star games, 6 Gold Gloves. An assortment. He has the deliberate delivery that we see in a lot of the Asian pitchers. He has a good slider. He'll throw cutter, curveball, change of speeds. But the Marlins were able to touch him up. The key culprit was a Cody Ross 3-run homer the last time they saw Kawakami.
Here's Coghlan, who takes down low. That was all the way back in mid-April, and of course Coghlan was not with the ball club at that point. Kawakami did have 7 strikeouts in the game, and Coghlan pops this one up. Shallow center, McLeod, a Gold Glover out there, makes the catch. This is a good defensive team, the Braves are.
Yeah, they are. They have enough speed in the outfield, good hands in the infield. And let's check out the outfield. Garrett Anderson, McLeod, and Ryan Church. Chipper and Kochman. Kochman has gone 154 straight games without an error. Escobar and Prado up the middle. And McCann behind the plate.
Top of the order for the Marlins did a nice job last night. Coghlan had 2 hits. Bonifacio had 2 hits. Hanley drove in 2 runs. But it was a night where the Marlins, yes, they had the walk-off come from behind win, but the Fish had chances to get to the other JJ, Jair Jurgens. And Freddie Gonzalez, of course, back on the bench. He spent last night in a variety of places.
Couldn't sit still, he said.
No, watched an inning or two from Larry Beinfest's office, then went down to his office. Just a lot of pacing. Went to the workout room and watched it in the workout room. But Carlos Tosca brought home a W. With a lot of help from Ross Glode. 0-2 pitch. Fastball left, almost got him. And it's 1-2. Kawakami was a star in Japan. He was a 6-time All-Star, won 3 Gold Gloves, won the Sawamura Award, which is the Cy Young equivalent. Central League MVP. Pitching for Chunichi. Bonifacio nearly knocked that one up off the ground. And you can see the Gold Glove style of Kawakami. That's a nice play by the pitcher.
That's not an easy play. A lot of pitchers can't get off the mound that quickly. He's not a big guy, 5'11", about 200 pounds. A little half bunt swing, and Kawakami fields, turns, and throws, and made a good throw over the head of Bonifacio. That's a nice play by a Japanese Gold Glover. Always had a good strikeouts to walks ratio in Japan too. And is not complaining the way Daisuke's complaining lately.
No. I think he has a better ERA than Daisuke does right now. Fastball up against Hanley.
Let's see how the scouting report looks on Kawakami. Slow and deliberate. Big slow curveball. He likes to stay away. He'll come in occasionally.
See how he starts his windup with a split finger grip. And that's exactly what he threw to Hanley.
We're going to have to get the inside on Daisuke from our Red Sox insider. We'll touch base in a couple of days. Red Sox insider not real happy right now.
No, Scott Hopkins, I think, is the vice president of Red Sox Nation. Another splitter. And it's 2-1.
What pitchers will do, they'll always have that grip because they feel from that grip they can go to their other grips easier. If they have, let's say, a two-seam grip, now go to the split grip, it might give it away. They can always change.
That looked like he did change. So this should be a fastball. Yep. Inside corner.
Spots it, not overpowering. He's not going to throw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs.
He's part of a very good Atlanta Braves rotation. A rotation that should keep the Braves in this wild card race deep into September. I mean, when you're running out Javier Vasquez, Derek Lowe, Jurgens last night, Tommy Hanson, who's 5-1. You got Kawakami, and Tim Hudson is probably 3 weeks away from rehabbing off his surgery.
That's their wild card.
It is. 1, 2, 3 first for Kawakami. We're underway and scoreless. And Braves, the best value at the ballpark is a CBS 4 for $54 pack on Friday nights. With that 4 for $54 pack, you get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, 2 Marlins game programs that start at just $54. Grab one today at the stadium box office, the Marlins in Miami store, marlins.com. And of course, this Friday is a great Friday to come out. The red-hot Chicago Cubs are coming in.
Boy, are they hot. 12-0 shutout this afternoon at Wrigley Field over Houston. Soriano is he hit a home run. He's been hot lately. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup.
Garrett Anderson last night fouled off a bunch of fastballs, then got a changeup and jumped on it.
Talked briefly to Brendan Donnelly in the clubhouse after the game. Donnelly and Anderson teammates with the Angels. And I said, how do you pitch this guy? He's a career almost a 300 hitter.
Boy, he smacks that one to center. Cody's going to have to go a while to get it. He's not gonna. Over his head, off of the wall. And Garrett Anderson has a double to lead off the second inning.
And one of the interesting things that Donnelly said as you watch Anderson take care of this fastball out over the plate, he said you have to pitch to him as to the way he swings. If he appears to be swinging and right on changeups and curveballs, you have to go hard because he'll sit on pitches for a long time. And he had a nice swing at that fastball. Over 2,400 hits for Garrett Anderson.
He may not be a Hall of Famer, but he's had a very productive and solid career. Now Escobar, none better with runners in scoring position than this guy in the National League, and Anderson's out there with nobody out. Josh backs him up with a fastball.
Yeah, Anderson, you saw the list of doubles. He has 280 career home runs. Yeah, you're right. Just a solid, terrific Major League player. Not a Hall of Famer, but a terrific player.
With a very nice World Series championship ring from the Angels. Escobar, a professional at bat as he shoots the ball to the right side, and it moves Anderson to third. That's something that Bobby Cox likes to see. The weather, a question this afternoon for sure with all the moisture that fell on the ballpark. 76 degrees, 40% chance of rain, and the winds are calm.
Well, interesting watching the infield. They're creeping in about halfway. You don't have to play all the way in with Anderson, the runner at third. He doesn't run that well. So this is like playing in, but you can get a step or two back.
Casey Kochman is not a big home run guy, but this is not a bad spot for him. He sprays line drives. He's a good contact hitter.
Yeah, just 28 strikeouts, so not an easy guy to strike out. The Braves don't have many guys that strike out easily. They put the ball in play.
That's a strike. Bill Hahn seems to have a pretty good strike zone, and it's 1-2.
Now is when you think strike.
Yeah.
You see, even you and I are thinking along the same line.
We started the same sentence. Now's when you want the punch out. And he figured he'd pick at the corner, and it's 2-2. Now, oftentimes for Josh, a strikeout pitch is a slider that starts up and then finishes down. The danger, though, is you got a runner at third base if he bounces it. Fastball, Bonifacio snares it. Marlins get a break. That one was hit on the button.
Good play by Bonifacio. Actually, a nice play by Garrett Anderson not to get doubled off. So he got back to the bag, but Bonifacio picked it out of the air on a well-hit ball.
And the Marlins are simply going to walk Ryan Church and pitch to Kawakami.
Yeah, certainly that's the move. Church, the left-handed bat, hitting it at 8th spot. Kawakami only has 3 hits, but you know what? He swings the bat. He's not afraid to go up there and take some hacks.
Well, you win a Gold Glove, and it's a pretty good indication as a pitcher you're a good athlete. And so Church is aboard. Anderson over at third base. And here comes Kawakami.
I think this is one of those at-bats where you still have to make good pitches. You can't just say, okay, intentional walk, I'll just throw some fastballs to Kawakami.
Because you got to, if he runs into one,
yeah,
you give up a run. So you go after him then like a regular hitter?
I think so. Maybe with nobody on base is a little different situation.
Strike one. Josh Johnson, of course, 7-1 last year, 9-2 this year. An amazing 16-3. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery.
And that's over pretty much a year's worth of work, 34 starts.
Ball in the dirt. He's on a great run, Johnson is. We talked about it in his last start. He has not been charged with more than 3 runs in any of his last 17 starts. Only 3 other current Major League pitchers have ever fashioned such a streak in 1 year. Johan Santana, Chris Carpenter, and Andy Pettit. Pretty good company.
Yes,
it's a pretty good fastball.
Pretty good pitching to Kawakami.
And 2 are left for the Braves. Go to the bottom of the second, scoreless.
Tonight I told you about our Name That Marlin giveaway. We debuted it last night, and hopefully you're following Sun Sports or Fox Sports Florida on our Twitter. That's Sun Sports Fox FL on Twitter. Have your chance at winning an autographed baseball. Here's the clue tonight. Last season, this Marlin became the first player since Carlton Fisk in September of '77 to record 15 RBIs in a 4-game series. First player since Fisk in '77 to record 15 RBIs in a 4-game series. Plays for the Marlins. Tweet us who you think it is. The first to tweet us with the correct Marlin player wins an autographed ball by that player. Good luck. We'll have the answer for you later in the game. And I know, guys, it was a big hit last night.
Jorge Cantu, Jeremy Hermida, and Dan Ugla stand in.
Rich, I can't tweet that quickly. I try.
But I suspect you know the answer.
I do. It was an exciting series.
There's the big curveball you talked about from Kawakami. Cantu 0 for 4 last night.
Rich, you made a great point just as the inning ended. when the Marlins were up about the rotation for the Braves and how they expect within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe tops, to get Tim Hudson back. That's just like making a deal. He's thrown 3 times on rehab starts. He'll have 2 or 3 more. So that's just like an acquisition, and that'll be a solid man in the rotation.
3-0 pitch is high, and Cantu is aboard. Speaking of acquisitions, Roy Halladay is not a Philadelphia Philly, but Cliff Lee is. What do you make of this trade? Obviously, Halladay was the first target by the Phillies.
Bottom line, this is what I make of it. The Blue Jays wanted too much from Philadelphia for Halladay, and so they went after last year's Cy Young winner Cliff Lee. Now they add another lefty. They have 5 left-handers now in their rotation with Happ, Cliff Lee, Jamie Moyer, and Cole Hamels. For 4 lefties and 1 righty and Joe Blanton.
And then what do they do with Pedro when he's ready?
Put him in the bullpen.
Cantu's aboard. Hermida standing at the plate. I still think the Braves have the best rotation in the division, because, I mean, you look top to bottom what they're running out there. Vasquez, Hanson, Jurgens, all with ERAs of under 3. Low is 10-7, and Kawakami's pretty solid. If they get Hudson back, that will be a real boost.
So Cliff Lee, who won the Cy Young last year, win and loss wise was not having a great year this year, but a terrific earned run average.
There's a strike. The 4 prospects that the Indians got back from the Phillies are all ranked in the top 10, according to Baseball America, in Philadelphia's system. So they got 4 of the top 10 Philly prospects. Hermida yanks one into right field. Cantu knows that Church has a good arm. He saw him throw out Ugla from deep right field last night, and he holds on, and it will be Ugla coming up with runners first and second.
Always like to see that, a left-handed hitter take advantage of that hole on the right side, and Jeremy Hermida up there had that opportunity. There's a lot of room there. If you can get a pitch middle in, go ahead and yank it that way, and he does just that. So good job. It was hit so hard. You're right. Church's arm kept Cantu at second base.
In that game in which the Marlins beat Kawakami, Ugla had a double. Tommy talked about Cody Ross, who had a home run. Ross is on deck. Ugla 1 for 4 last night. The wildness that we're seeing from Kawakami is not something he has ever shown in his career. You talked about his walk to strikeout ratio. In Japan, in 11 seasons, look at that ratio there. 11 seasons, 1,600 plus innings, just 351 walks. And yet he goes 2-0 on Ugla.
He's also not pitched as well away from Turner Field. Better record at home than on the road.
Two-0 pitch. Ugla takes outside corner. The Cliff Lee deal is the headliner today in Major League trades.
Not the only one, though.
The Pirates have dealt both parts of their double play combination. First, Jack Wilson went to Seattle with Ian Snell for prospects. There's the 2-1 pitch. Oh boy, Ugla took a meatball fastball.
Had to be looking for something else.
You rarely see him not swing at a pitch like this,
especially when it's a fastball. Had to be looking for something else.
It's 2-2,
and that happens.
Freddie Sanchez moments ago was traded to the San Francisco Giants. On the breaking ball, down goes Ugla.
Well, that's one of those at bats you just kind of go back and you want to forget about as quickly as possible.
Well, here was the Ross at bat against Kawakami. He had 2 hits in this ball game.
Yeah, got a fastball middle in and took it out at Turner Field. What are Pirate fans thinking now? I mean, they lose McLeod. They're in another rebuild. They haven't had a winning season since '92. They've gotten rid of McLeod. They've gotten rid of Jack Wilson. They've gotten rid of Freddie Sanchez.
Niger Morgan. Do they have anybody else left to trade? They got a pitching prospect from the Giants, and Freddie Sanchez is going to be a huge shot in the arm.
Hey,
for
the
San Francisco.
Giants have helped themselves offensively. They were looking to get a little jump start. They got Ryan Garco the other day from Cleveland, and now Freddie Sanchez, a couple of good offensive players.
Cody calls time and steps out. Cleveland might not be done.
That's right. The Pirates traded Adam LaRoche to the Red Sox.
Victor Martinez, their fine catcher, the switch hitting catcher for the Indians, is hot on the trade rumor mill. Ross fouls it back. And it's 0-2. You wonder if the Mets are going to make a deal. They're so banged up. They're going to. You would expect they're going to get some guys back, impact guys back eventually.
Tough to trade guys when they're on the disabled list, though.
Cody sends that one to center field, hits it deep. Back goes McLeod, and he's at the track, makes the catch. Cantu tags. He'll get to third, and Hermida scampers back to first.
Boy, that ball traveled, given the fact that Cody hit it with one hand.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Florida Marlins. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Florida Marlins and John Baker. You have to deal with the body. Bake. 6-game hitting streak. And Kawakami might not be all that aggressive. Johnson's on deck. And Bake watches a fastball miss down low.
Yeah, even though if they pitch around Baker and load the bases, Kawakami feels, I'm sure, that he could go after Josh Johnson. But you may see Bake expand the strike zone a little bit here, look for something out of the ordinary, maybe guess backwards. And it seems like every time you do that, you get a fastball right down the bite
because you're busy thinking. There are some that will say, don't think, just hit. No, you got two of them.
Got two of them.
That's 1 and 2.
Two pretty good ones. Up, out over the plate.
But then again, you think about the at-bats last night of Chipper Jones and Garrett Anderson, who were definitely looking for a certain pitch. Got that pitch, and both hit it out. 1-2. And Kawakami comes back and strikes out Baker. Marlins leave a couple. Johnson is the subject of the next Inside the Marlins. We'll take a look at JJ, track his career from the minor leagues to his major league debut, the Tommy John surgery, and then all the way to St. Louis for this year's All-Star game. It's Inside the Marlins, Josh Johnson. It premieres on Saturday, 10 o'clock on Sun Sports. For a preview of the show right now, log on to sunsportstv.com. Click on the Marlins link. Second time through for the Braves against JJ in the third. McLeod flied out, and Johnson misses down low. But there's no one left in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we didn't even. Yeah, I think we did mention McLeod. Yeah, they're all gone. Think about the time that the Marlins were in Pittsburgh. We saw McLeod. We saw Adam LaRoche. We saw Freddie Sanchez. We saw Jack Wilson.
We saw Niger Morgan.
Saw Niger Morgan.
JJ misses high. The question that Pirate fans are going to be asking is,
who are these guys?
Did they get something in return that's going to turn into a Hanley Ramirez? Drive to right. And Hermita's there to make the catch.
Boy, they sure hope they do.
Did they? Will they uncover somebody like a Jorge Cantu?
And that's where the Marlins, over the years, have been able to do such a terrific job.
And I think for the Pirates, one of their big struggles, and I think we see it in San Diego as well, is you can't afford to have 3, 4, 5 years where you don't hit on a first or a high round draft pick to make an impact on your team. And the Pirates have struggled with that through their losing seasons, and the Padres lately have had some misses as well. Not that the Marlins are perfect at that. They've missed too, but they've hit on them, and you're looking at one of them, a 4th round pick in 2002, Josh Johnson.
Yeah, when you hit on a 4th round pick that has this kind of talent.
Didn't miss by much.
Well, that pitch wasn't a strike last night either. You know, if you have the patience that Martin Prado has, he'll wait till he gets something a little more out away from him. Oh, well, one of those has to be a strike. I mean, all of a sudden now you have to throw it down the middle of the plate because one of those pitches has to be a strike.
That is a strike. Here's the 2-2. Chopper over the middle. Hanley cuts it off on the run. Got it.
See what happened? He finally had to come down the middle. Hey, Prado got a nice pitch to hit and almost got a base hit, if not for the good D by Hanley Ramirez, who has played solid defense all year. Over on the second base side, he's able to get his body turned and make a nice throw onto Jorge Cantu.
Did you see Cantu try to sell the play there?
Yeah, he get off a little bit. That was good.
That's a veteran first baseman's move. Nice play by Hanley. Here is Chipper at the plate. Here the Braves are wow, that didn't miss by much either. The Braves are a very good defensive team. If I asked you who's made more errors, the left side of the Marlins infield or the left side of the Braves infield, that's a strike. It's 1-1. The answer is the Braves left side has made more errors than the Marlins. Even though Bonifacio has made 15 errors, Chipper Jones has made 14.
And Escobar's made 11.
And Hanley's made just 8.
It's a good call. I like that research, Rich. You did some research on the Goodyear blimp today.
Yeah, it's big. Here's the 1-2. And misses inside. Yeah, the Setti family had a chance to go up in the Goodyear blimp. The 2-2. They were out there in Pompano Beach later this week on Marlins Live. You'll get a chance to see their trip. And we're hoping that the Goodyear blimp will join us tomorrow night and Friday night, weather permitting. We'll have a blimp. Grounder up the middle. Hanley has it, spins, fires, got him! 2 gorgeous plays by Hanley Ramirez. Finishes the Braves in the third. Nicely done, young man.
Runs now, 3 innings in his 3 rehab stints. No runs allowed. He's going to go one more tomorrow. This is the back-to-back that the staff likes to see. If everything goes well tomorrow, and this is for AA Jacksonville, you may see him by this weekend and be right back on the roster with the Marlins when they take on the Cubs this weekend. So good stuff with Lindstrom returning, hopefully as soon as the weekend. But one thing they always look at, back-to-back, if he feels okay, you see him this weekend.
And Craig and Tommy, in talking to Freddie, if Lindstrom does come back this weekend, he won't immediately proceed to the closer's spot. The Marlins will see how he throws and go from there.
And I think we also, in our talk with Freddie, there's really no definitive starter for Saturday.
Right.
We talked about Burke Badenhop, and he's certainly a possibility. But a lot of it depends on, Hopper is eligible Friday. So a lot of it depends on how things go Friday in the game against the Cubs.
Yeah, if something happens, 2 or 3 rain delays, and you need to break class and bring the Hopper out, then the Marlins would have to find that starter on Saturday someplace else. That is strike 3. Coughlin now with Bonifacio to follow. Coughlin flied out back in the first. Kawakami, one time through the order, has 3 strikeouts and has walked 1. So the Phillies have Cliff Lee. They gave up 4 prospects. None of the 4 that they gave up were the targets of the Blue Jays, apparently, in the Halliday talks.
And that goes along with what we've been talking about. You made a good point the other night. It's matching up. And you might not match up against a certain organization in trades.
Right, the Indians had different needs than the Blue Jays. And the other thing is, the information you get about a potential trade that doesn't go down, Coughlin rips it to right and it lands in front of Church. That information isn't always 100% accurate because it comes from multiple sources. And sometimes a reporter will talk to one club and say, oh no, they were asking for this guy or that guy, and it's not always true. So you take it with a grain of salt.
Now, all the information that we give you is absolute.
Mountain of salt. All right, let's see if Coughlin, away from first, is on the move, and he's running on the first pitch.
Little hit and run action. Coughlin took a peek over his shoulder to see what Bonifacio would do. And unfortunately, the ball fouled off. Got a pretty good jump, too. You can see the shortstop, Escobar. A lot of times when you have a hitter up there, in Bonifacio's case, you'll see the second baseman cover because he's more likely to hit the ball to the left side than to the right side. And sometimes they'll change it up during the at-bat. Who will cover, second baseman or shortstop?
And as a middle infielder, a lot of it depends on pitch, too. If it's going to be a slow breaking ball, he's more likely to pull that pitch. Then you'd see that man cover second.
On that fastball, I was surprised to see Escobar cover.
One ball, one strike. Do you buy the theory that as a catcher, subconsciously or maybe consciously, in this situation, you'll call for more fastballs?
Depends on the hitter. I think you could do it with Bonifacio. Because a guy like Bonifacio, they always used to say, don't make a mistake. If you're going to make a mistake, make it with the fastball. If you make a mistake with a changeup or a hanging curveball, he can pull it down the right field line. You don't want to give him or allow him a pitch that he can pull. Because if he pulls it down the right field line, there's a lot of room down there.
Don't speed his bat up. Marlins had first and second and nobody out in the second. And Kawakami pitched around that, got a couple of strikeouts in the process. Ground ball, Escobar, Prado's turn, safe at first. Obviously a tough man to double up.
Boy, that was a great play, though. A good attempt by the Braves. Escobar makes a nice play on a ball well hit. And I think they got him. I couldn't believe Prado got rid of the ball and had something on it, almost throwing flat-footed. And it looked like they got it. So the Marlins get a little break and keep the inning alive. But I was surprised it was even that close. And Prado made a nice turn.
It's a big call because it gives Hanley an AB with a runner at first.
We saw that in L.A. Remember when Bonifacio was hit? It allowed Hanley to come up and he doubled.
That opened the door for a big inning. '67 RBIs for Hanley. See with runners on how good he's been. Other news and notes around baseball. One note that might impact the Marlins in August. Roy Oswalt left the start with a bad back.
Yeah, what did he last? An inning and 2/3, I think.
Lower back. Was on the disabled list for it back in 2006. Oswalt has returned to Houston and is scheduled to be examined either today or tomorrow morning.
Marlins see the Astros the second week of August.
7 times in the span of 10 games. So you could end up seeing Oswalt twice in a week.
So they didn't get good news because they found out that news. And then today Mike Hampton started for the Astros in Chicago, and he didn't last long. We told you the Cubs beat the Astros 12-0. So not a good outing for Hampton.
Hanley drives that ball to right center field. That's a base hit. Going to the wall. Going to the is Bonifacio. He's going to score easily. Hanley's digging for third. In there.
Yeah, you're right. That call at first opens things up. It allowed Hanley to bat, and what a beautiful swing. How many times have we talked about Hanley driving in runs with base hits the other way? Great swing in the gap in right center. And once again, it's always a joy to watch Bonifacio. Pitch down and out over the plate. There's the swing. There goes Hanley. There goes the ball in the gap. There's a point in time where the helmet usually comes off right about here, just before he gets to third, and he comes in to score.
It's like an auto eject right after second base. Cantu now. Jorge Cantu walked back in the second.
You believe it? That's Hanley's first triple this year.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the road trip.
Yeah.
All the extra base hits. First triple. One ball, one strike. Marlins have scored first. Foul. Hanley at the plate getting that triple, and apparently the bat he was using, Chris Coughlin's. If it works, go with it.
And if you're a rookie, you don't have a whole lot to say about it.
Yeah. If Hanley says, I'm using your bat, he's using your bat.
Yeah. So Coughlin got a base hit with that bat. A one-out single.
Cantu drives it. Church is there. The most valuable bat of the inning is Chris Coughlin's. Two very nice defensive plays and drives in the game's first run. Now there's a Gator fan. The Duck, last Braves pitcher to lead the National League in strikeouts. Hudson?
Well, you got a lot of choices. You know, you can go with Tim Hudson. You could
Smoltz?
go with Smoltz. You could go with a Steve Avery, Kevin Millwood.
McCann. Brian McCann, Garrett Anderson, Yunel Escobar in the fourth in a 1-0 game. Second AB against Josh Johnson. And that pitch is low. McCann hit a broken bat liner to Cantu in the first. Cantu, it's a fair ball. Boy, has his defense made a big difference for the Marlins. Top of the broadcast, we talked about his night last night. Just overall, Tommy, throughout the season, the change of Cantu at first for the entire season has made a nice change in the Marlins defensively.
Boy, he has good range, and the thing that's been impressive, very soft hands. And he hasn't had to make that throw. He had those same things at third, but throwing got him in trouble every once in a while. But just great defense this year by Jorge Cantu at first base. And how about the defense tonight? Hanley with a couple of terrific plays last inning.
Garrett Anderson doubled in the second. Two strikes on the black. 0-2.
When Garrett Anderson left the Angels, he saw his name atop the leaderboard in games, runs, hits, doubles, just about every offensive category.
He had a very good postseason in that World Series year. In fact, he had a hit in all 7 World Series games. And the Braves got him for a bargain, just $2.5 million. Coughlin makes the catch.
No bad knees. I think a lot of teams stayed away from him because of the injuries that he'd had to his lower half. So they wondered if that would affect his fielding in the National League and certainly his running.
Family Sunday closes out this homestand in the series against the Cubs at 5:05. First 5,000 get a Marlins duffel bag courtesy of Doctors Hospital. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game. 1-877 Marlins.
Be a long day in New York tomorrow. The Rockies and Mets have been rained out tonight. They will play a split doubleheader tomorrow.
Marlins will have an old-fashioned doubleheader in September against the Phillies. The split doubleheader means 2 admissions, right?
Yeah, one in the afternoon. Then the second game's a night start, so you clear out the gate, bring in another gate.
That's got to be tough on the cleanup crew. Strike. 2-2. Towards the line. Hermida runs it down. 1-2-3. Goes JJ, who is retired 7 in a row. 1-0 Fish, bottom 4. Jeremy Hermida, Dan Uggla, Cody Ross against Kenshin Kawakami. And Hermida takes outside. Jeremy had a triple against Kawakami in that day game back in mid-April in Atlanta.
I think one of the things the Marlins have been good at, guys like Wes Helms and Ross Gload help. And it's a tough situation. You can't focus on the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Phillies are in Arizona. They're unbeatable. They're 19-5 in the month of July. They won last night. Victorino has 40 hits. He's hitting over 390 in July. You have to just focus on who you're playing. Just go out and try to play good games every night, solid games.
McLeod, a little bit of an adjustment, and makes the catch. All right, here's the duck. I'll go Smoltz.
Can't go wrong with John Smoltz in a pitching-related question to the Braves.
96. Unfortunately for the Red Sox, he is not in that form right now.
They do not have that John Smoltz. His ERA over 7 with Boston.
Uggla. The good news for the Marlins in what you were talking about is if they just play good baseball and beat teams along the way in August and September, the teams they're playing, especially in August, are all in that wild card race. They'll see a ton of Houston. Colorado is coming in here.
Hey, a lot of good teams. A lot of teams with over 500 records.
There's the East standings. The Marlins 7 behind the Phillies. Here's the 2-0. Here's a look at who the Marlins have on the horizon. Cubs this weekend.
Over 500. Phillies, of course. The Astros, the Rockies playing good baseball.
All the teams in red in a playoff chase. The 3-0. Remember that that last at bat by Uggla, he let 2 pitches just like that sneak by. I would expect if he gets 1-3-1, he may tear himself in 2. And it's ball 4. Nice job.
Yeah, he got the fastball, but it wasn't a good one. And that's something I think we've seen over the last couple of years, improving in Dan Uggla's approach at the plate. I think there was a time that he would have just had a big rip at that 3-1 pitch because it was a fastball, not necessarily because it wasn't in his zone.
The Marlins are 4-2 against the Braves as Ross stands in. And it's significant for a couple of reasons. They have a winning record, but this is only game number 7 against the Braves. The Marlins go to Atlanta 2 more times. And the Braves come back here for a 4-game series, which bridges August to September. So that's a lot of games against a team that's going to be in that race you would expect with the great rotation they have. Kawakami has not pitched like the guy that has impeccable control tonight. He's been behind a lot. 65 pitches here in the 4th.
Yeah, he's not been sharp. His last year in Japan in 08 for Chinichi, he was 9-5 and had a nifty 2.30 ERA.
That's down low. So it's Baker with 1 out and runners first and second. Fink was struck out in the second.
And remember, he took a couple of good fastballs.
Lines it into the seats. We're talking about Saturday and who was going to start, possibly Burke Maidenhoff. It won't be Andrew Miller. Miller today rolled his ankle while making a start for New Orleans. And it looks like he'll be out for 2 weeks.
No, that was his second start after that horrendous first start where he walked 9 in his first AAA outing.
Let's see what Bake gets. 1-1. Ball in the dirt. This is for John Baker, it's an interesting at bat. And Frank Ford had a look at what it's like to hit 8. And the psychology of it.
It's hard to guess when you're hitting 8.
Johnson's on deck. There's 1 out.
Let me put it this way. It's hard to guess correctly when you're hitting 8.
Baker, who came up in the Oakland organization, such great plate discipline. In fact, he was part of that heralded Moneyball draft in 2002 by the A's, coming out of Cal. Ross and Ugla. It's a balk. Bill Hahn. Heck, Bob Davidson isn't even here, and that's a balk.
Doesn't look like there's much argument. Let's see if Kawakami, while he's on the rubber, let's see if he starts and then stops. Yep, see the arm? Yeah, he started the arm like he was going to bring the glove back and get going.
Infield's in. And Baker just gets a piece.
Interesting moment because the count's 2-2.
Yeah.
You're not going to just intentionally put John Baker on first base with Josh Johnson on deck. So you're going to try to get him out. So he's got 1 shot here. The infield comes in. That's why they come in.
And all of a sudden, Baker's in a mode where he's just trying to make hard contact. That's in.
Boy, that's the 7th 3-ball count tonight for Kawakami, and that's why that pitch count's over 70 already.
3-2 coming. Got him. Big curveball.
Went with a slow curveball.
Baker was out in front. And it's going to be up to JJ now.
Yeah, it's tough when you had a pitcher out there struggling and throwing a lot of pitches, a lot of 3-ball counts, and all of a sudden he drops in a pretty good curveball in that situation.
You almost wonder if, say, Hanley Ramirez or Jorge Cantu were on deck if Kawakami doesn't throw that pitch.
Different pitch.
What?
Johnson does have a home run. He's driven in 5 this year. Had a base hit his last time out.
He had a base hit off Clayton Kershaw. Nasty left-hander, holding lefty hitters to an under 200 batting average. JJ banged out a base hit.
It's pretty good. 273. JJ, center field, and deep. Gone!
That's his spot!
3-run shot!
That's his spot!
JJ!
Unbelievable! That's JJ's zone, straight away center field. Oh, he gassed that fastball.
Wow. Well, remember the reverse situation when JJ was facing Kawakami said you can't pitch him like he's a pitcher. I think Kawakami pitched Johnson like Johnson was just a pitcher.
Yeah, he didn't apply that theory. He said, here's the fastball, and that ball was rocketed.
Crowd wants a curtain call. JJ obliges. Coughlin rolls one to the outfield, and he beats it. No head first slide this time. Coughlin beats it out. Second homer, same spot as his first.
How about this year? Here's the fastball. This year, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, Josh Johnson, 3 for 9, 2 home runs, and 7 RBIs.
Nothing Fish. Coughlin a threat to run.
What another 2-hit night for Chris Coughlin. He had 2 hits last night. Beat out that infield base hit.
I hope you had a chance at the start of our show tonight to hear Coughlin talk about his head first slide into first. Because in that instance, almost a exact same play as last night, only in Coughlin's words, he wasn't between steps. That's why he slid head first last night. He was between steps, lunging. He felt that was the fastest route to the bag. Here, and explain what a base runner means, Tommy, by being between steps.
Well, when you run up the line enough, you usually know exactly when that stride is going to get you to the bag, either foot. Well, sometimes you get out of the box a little differently, and you're in between. You see runners kind of shuttle and stutter step. That's why he went into the head first slide. And he said he's run up the line so many times, he knew that that was the case.
Sooner or later, JJ's going to know when it's going out of the park. If he hits a few more like that.
Florida Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía SAP y es presentado por KFC.
Our Spanish language broadcasters join us now. Cookie and Raul. Hi, guys.
Hi, Richie. Tommy, how are you?
How are you guys doing?
Well, we're feeling pretty good after that 3-run shot at JJ.
Absolutely.
Hey, the interesting thing, the team was 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position before he hit that monster shot.
Well, JJ with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this year. Not bad.
Yeah, 3 for 9 with 2 outs, runners in scoring position this year. 3 for 9, 2 home runs.
What I always find amazing, I mean, him being a right-handed pitcher and generating that kind of pop from the left side, it's amazing. It kind of reminds me of when Mickey Mantle being a switch hitter, but his his main predominant power stroke was from the left side.
There's the 2-1 to Casey Kochman. And it's fouled back into the seats.
Cuenta ahora de 2 bolas y 2 strikes aquí sin outs en el quinto inning.
Cookie, Josh Johnson, it almost seemed like Kawakami was pitching him like he was a pitcher. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, you better look at the records because this man can hit, and when he hits, he puts him in play a long ways.
Oh,
that ball's hit to right.
Shot to right, and se fue.
And gone. All right, guys, have a good show.
Okay, guys.
Casey Kochman hits a rare home run, just his 6th of the season.
Well, I think it's an interesting inning and a key inning for JJ. After all the excitement, after the 3-run homer, the good at bat, now he's got to get back out. He had the curtain call. Now he has to get back out there and do his job as a pitcher. I think this pitch got in a little bit, but Kochman got enough of it. And you're right, he's not a home run hitter. He's a big guy. That's just his 6th of the year. But he gets the Braves on the scoreboard.
Brian Church into right field. So Ryan Church has a base hit, and the Braves are on the board and on base. And here's Kawakami in the 5th.
It's interesting because Bobby Cox has somebody in his bullpen. So I'm not sure if he just wants Kawakami to sacrifice and he's going to make a move, or if he's going to keep Kawakami in the game.
Doesn't want to burn the pinch hitter this early in the game.
Yes.
Bobby always has that catcher's glove. Was a third baseman, wasn't he?
He was a third baseman, yeah.
Especially in this ballpark because there's no screen or netting in front of the dugouts.
Bobby's been around a time or two.
Good bunt. JJ makes the play. It's interesting dynamics on that because Baker was drifting towards third, and I think Josh figured Bake was going to pounce on that ball. But with Bonifacio charging, Baker did not want to leave third base unoccupied. Our Hyundai Road ahead. Save thousands today at your South Florida Hyundai dealers. We're on Sun Sports in high definition tomorrow. Please make a note of it. Cubs on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then on the road, back to D.C.
Hey, and let's see more than just Cubs blue out here. Let's see some Marlins fans. It's going to be some nice crowds, no question, this weekend.
Here's McLeod.
And we know Cubs fans are everywhere around the United States.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the teams in Major League Baseball that's got fans in every city. And I know at times you're frustrated, and Marlin fans are frustrated when a team like the Cubs or the Mets or the Yankees or the Red Sox come to town. But the Marlins aren't alone. Remember when the Red Sox were in Atlanta playing the Braves? There were a ton of Red Sox fans in Atlanta.
As I'm sure there are Yankees fans tonight in St. Pete at the Trop. But you know what? The bottom line is nice to have fans.
Yes.
People in the seats. The Marlins enjoyed that weekend in L.A. Averaged about 50,000 a game. Only the Sunday game did not have over 50,000. It was close.
People who need people.
We need people. And we're the luckiest people.
1-2. sawed him off, and that's going to be a base hit. And you make a perfect pitch, and it turns into first and third, 1 out.
Well, there's one of the frustrating things of this game. Just an absolute beautiful pitch. Totally sawed off McLeod. And it just squibs up the third base line. No play for anybody. Now you have to be careful. I'm sure John Baker is talking to Josh Johnson about that. You have to be careful of McLeod, the runner at first base. You pointed out last night he's 15 out of 16 in steals this year. You want to kind of keep that double play in order.
Got one of the hotter Braves up in Prado. Third in the National League with 35 hits this month. Popped him up. Is it playable? Baker just for a look. Look at Freddie.
Yeah, I mentioned the leader in the National League in hits, Shane Victorino, coming into play tonight, 40.
See, that's the reactions of an ex-catcher on the bench, Freddie, when his catcher's coming over to a very dangerous dugout step.
I think you got to cross over that on-deck circle, which could be slippery. So Freddie's right there just in case.
Looked like he had some backup too. Now, if Bake was going over to the Braves dugout, not such a warm reception.
They'd be telling him a lot of room.
Although Bobby, never know, he's got the glove. One ball, one strike. Big hitter for a lot of reasons. It's first and third with 1 out. And the Braves are trying to climb back in. And Chipper Jones is on deck.
And all of a sudden that pitch count is climbing for Josh Johnson. That last pitch, number 77, as that man looms on deck.
He's done a lot of looming in his career. Church and McLeod. Told you, in his career, McLeod has only been thrown out by 2 catchers, Matt Trainer and Giovanni Soto. Ground ball, might be 2. Got 1 there. Got 2 there. JJ escapes. 4-6-3. Braves are on the board, but only once. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Steve Cardamone and the world's most dangerous tape room. Casey Kochman's home run, the only thing the Braves have to show for the night. Josh Johnson has had great defense behind him, especially from this man.
And what a big pitch. To get a tough hitter, a guy who doesn't strike out much, to get Prado to hit it at 4-6-3 double play.
Hanley, left field, and deep. Get out of here.
Remember, Bobby Cox had action in the bullpen, but he decided to leave Kawakami in to drop down the sac bunt. And his first pitch here in the 5th inning, Hanley takes deep his 16th of the year.
And the Marlins stretch their lead to 5-1. Yeah, go ahead and dance. Triple and a homer for Hanley tonight.
Boy, that's just a perfect swing. Gets great extension. And as soon as it left his bat, no doubt about it.
Roger McDowell, the pitching coach for the Braves, is out there right now. Hanley had the RBI triple in the 3rd, now has a solo homer. The Marlin All-Stars tonight. Josh Johnson on the mound and at the plate. He's got a 3-run homer. Hanley's driven in the other 2 runs, and he's made a couple of gems out in the field.
Been an all-star kind of night.
Kawakami comes up and in. Braves bullpen, Chris Medlin is up. Here's a 1-0. Cantu smokes it. Chipper is up to get it. Hit it hard. Nice play. We check in with Craig.
Guys, Wes Helms in a very interesting comment the other day. You were talking about Hanley Ramirez. He said, you know, most major leaguers' average night is square up one ball, really get one good one a game. And he said Hanley is that unique ability. There's only a couple of guys, in his opinion, that 2 or 3 times a night he's going to get the barrel of the bat on the ball, square it up, and hit it as hard as possible. And he said that's just an amazing ability. Now Hanley is an 18-point lead coming in on Sandoval for the batting title. Still 2 months to go, of course. No Marlin has ever led the league in hitting. Remember, Miguel Cabrera came close a few years ago. He hit 339, 5 back of the just traded Freddie Sanchez. And Hanley's been in a race too before.
Yep. In a wild card race right now and leading the National League in hitting. Pretty good place to be. Bermuda's 1 for 2. Jeremy hits one well to center field. McLeod goes back. He'll have room, and he makes the catch. 2 down. Here comes Uggla. If you just happened by, the Marlins have a 5-1 lead over the Braves. Last night, 2-2 game going into the 9th, and some dramatic home runs. Garrett Anderson's to take the lead. Ross Glode's to walk off with the win. Some dramatic home runs tonight. Anytime a pitcher hits a 3-run bomb to straightaway center field in this ballpark, that's dramatic. And that's what Josh Johnson did. Hanley's homered and tripled. Dan Uggla, did you? His name is Dan Uggla. Wow.
Oh, boy, he barely got us an opportunity to get that out. It got out of here so quickly. Number 18 for Daniel.
And the slow, long walk of Bobby Cox. Remember the fastballs that he had let get by him in that first at bat?
Yes. Not that time.
For the second time this year, the Marlins have knocked Kawakami around. Here's Arborudi called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van.
JJ's homer. Kawakami's out. Chris Medlin is in. Out of Santa Ana Junior College. 10th round pick of the Braves in 06.
Fastballs and sliders will use his changeup.
0-2 quickly to Ross. So the home run ball is back tonight.
And that's a good sign. That's good to see. Jim Presley loves those quick runs.
One ball, two strikes.
You know, he's all for the manufacturing. He loves that. But he loves those quick runs, too. They help out every now and then.
Especially if you don't have the personnel that's real good at manufacturing. The Marlins have done it in kind of fits and starts. Ilhan, you could hear him. Hopefully, if you've got that Dolby sound cranked up, you could hear him. You can hear these too. Oh, that's sweet. Marlins on top, all-you-can-eat seats. Get your fill of hot dogs, peanuts, nachos, sodas, all from the comfort of club seats. Next all-you-can-eat night coming up Friday the 31st. Marlins and Cubs. Marlins.com. Maybe Chewy will be there. I think Chewy is the unofficial mascot of all-you-can-eat seats.
I think I saw Chewy at Comic-Con in San Diego.
I think there were about a dozen Chewies. Chipper pulls one into right field. So he's got a base hit here in the 6th against Josh Johnson. Johnson's pitch count right at 80 now. Here comes McCann.
I'll tell you what, one thing Brian McCann has done, you talked about it last night, the improvement in his eyes with wearing glasses. But he got himself in the offseason in great shape. He's in much better shape than he was last year. He's running better. He's obviously still a terrific young hitter, hitting over 300. Forget Brian McCann, only 25.
It's hard to imagine anyone catching 130 games in the big leagues and not being in good shape. But you change your diet, you change your workout regimen, and it can make a difference. Tommy and I spend most of our off-season changing our diet and our workout regimen.
Constant adjustments. It's amazing. Brian McCann, an all-star this year.
Yes.
4 times an all-star, and he's 25.
This is a tough place for glasses. We talked about it last night. You get in the humidity here in Miami. Ground ball. Hanley. How about another double play? And that's Bonifacio who throws it away.
Thought Hanley could have taken it himself. I know Bonifacio was there. I know Bonifacio's a natural second baseman. But with McCann, the runner, I thought Hanley could have taken that himself. But the problem was Bonifacio was so quick to the bag, and that got him. See, Boney's right there.
And should be able to turn that.
And did not. I think Hanley thought about it until he saw Bonifacio right there on the bag. And that was a tough pick for Cantu.
Yeah, with McCann running, you have plenty of time. It's not an error. You don't assume a double play. It's one of the scoring oddities of this game.
Well, if the ball had gotten away and McCann gets to second base, then it's an error on the throw. But that would have been big time and really picked up Josh Johnson in this inning.
Marlins turned a big double play to finish off the 5th. That ball smoked right center field, and it's gone.
And that's another reason that double play would have been big time.
Garrett Anderson drops the hammer for the 2nd time in 2 nights.
Boy, that's such an easy swing. He has that easy swing. Not much effort. Pitch out over the plate and down. And he sent it a long way. Number 9 on the year. And number 281 in his career.
Escobar. Think about the Braves' runs in this series. Chipper Jones a solo homer last night. Anderson a solo homer last night. So 2 of their 3 runs on homers last night. All 3 of their runs tonight on the Kochman homer and the 2-run shot by Anderson.
And all coming off left-handed bats. Chipper batting left-handed, and then Kochman and Anderson.
Fly ball right field. Premeditated. 2 down, and here comes Kochman. We told you about all the trades today. Cliff Lee ends up in Philadelphia. The Pirates traded everybody but the Parrot today. Jack Wilson and Ian Snell going to Seattle.
He's not arbitration eligible yet.
Nice touch. Freddie Sanchez going to the Giants. And the Pirates getting a slew of prospects in return. Who's next to go? Is it Victor Martinez in Cleveland? Is it Halladay in Toronto?
Yeah, what's going to happen with that Roy Halladay thing? Roy Halladay, the losing pitcher, actually, tonight in Seattle. Just a 3-2 score, the Mariners beating the Jays.
I know the Marlins and the Braves and the Mets are all chasing the Phillies, but I think the team that probably stood up and paid attention to that Phillies trade the most were the Dodgers. Because if you're looking to make a run,
they had an interest in Lee too.
Yes, and they're the team that was bounced out of the postseason by the Phillies last year.
So does that make them pull the trigger on a Roy Halladay trade?
Maybe, but who do they give up? Do they have to give up a
Billingsley, a Kershaw?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Towards the line, Coghlan in full flight, won't get there. He'll pick it up, and Kochman dumps a single down the line in an inning that should already be over. That's going to extend Johnson here, and out comes Wiley. And let's think outside the bun now with where Josh Johnson is in this ball game at 96 pitches.
Well, I think Mark Wiley, and you think about this is how I think about pitch counts. We talk about it a lot because it's there. Sometimes it's an easy 96 pitches, sometimes it's a hard 96. And I think this has been a hard 96 for Josh. He had to work last inning. Remember, he gave up the home run to Kochman, a couple of other base hits, and then got the double play ball from Prado. He had the excitement of the home run, the curtain call, and he's had a tough inning here. So this is a tougher 96 pitches. I think Mark Wiley and Freddie would like to see him get out of this inning and then shut it down the rest of the evening.
Number 25,
Church, and if you're not careful with him, he'll barrel one up. He has singled and was intentionally walked.
And remember, Josh has a string going of 17 consecutive starts where he's allowed 3 earned runs or less. This being the 18th start of that stretch.
Mark Wiley muttering, and I'm sure it has something to do with that double play that was not turned. Marlins were swung over in the shift for McCann, and it was Bonifacio that tried to turn the double play, but as a natural second baseman, it was a very routine play. 2-2. Counts full. Kochman will be on the move. Greg Norton on deck.
Decision is, if he loses Ryan Church, does he stay in to pitch to Norton, or do you bring in Kiko Calero? So you're a manager, you're sitting at home, go ahead, make that decision before you know what Church does and before you know what Norton's going to do.
And it's easy to manage after everything's happened. He's made 2 good pitches, and the at-bat continues.
Yeah, just to illustrate even more the last couple of innings. Josh threw 18 pitches in the 5th. He's thrown 25 so far here in the 6th.
Ground ball. Ugla has it. Inning over, but the Braves get 2 on Garrett Anderson's second homer of the series. 6-3 Fish. How about this effort? Our Geico quote: "I don't hit enough homers to stand there and watch them. I don't even know how to stand there and watch him." When Ross Gload hit the ball last night, watch his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Look how big they got.
You know, it's interesting, too. You have a couple of veterans, Wes Helms and Ross Gload. They each have different approaches to their preparation to pinch hitting. Wes does a few things. Wes does a lot of things. But they're prepared.
That's a good point. Not everybody has the same routine, do they?
No, they don't always work. You have to find which one works for you.
Baker off the end of the bat, and it squibs out to Escobar, who throws him out. And we are going to see for the first time this year Gabby Sanchez.
Which is certainly tough for Gabby. He was called up about a week ago on the 21st. Hasn't had an at bat. He's taken a lot of batting practice. There are his numbers in AAA.
Big chopper. Chipper bare hands and makes a terrific play. And so Sanchez has waited a week for one swing.
Well, that's what happens sometimes. And Chipper Jones says, I think Chipper can make that play in his sleep.
You know, we got a lot of emails last night. A lot of people have said, well, why haven't the Marlins played Gabby? Why isn't he starting up there? Well, you know what? The ball club has won 6 of their last 7. And that's the role that if you're a young player and you're not a regular, that's how you get to the big leagues, and that's how you start getting at bats. You don't always come up and start right away. I'm sure for you there were many times where you got called up and it took you a week for an AB.
I think one of the mistakes in the game today is that we christen young players as stars before they even get a chance to play.
Amen to that. But I think Gabby has the hitting stroke that he will be an everyday player in the big leagues someday. Coughlin's 2 for 3. Look at his last 7 games. Medlin misses inside. Medlin took over for Kawakami. Finished off the 5th. JJ, 6 solid innings. And the 3-run homer didn't hurt either.
We talked about Coughlin. He's 6 for his last 12. This is his last 3 games. And Josh Johnson continues that streak now of starts, 18 consecutive starts, allowing 3 earned runs or less.
Toyota trend of the night. 52 wins, 3rd most after 100 games. 50 or more in 5 of the last 7 seasons. Oh, and 1. Coughlin chased back.
Boy, I'll say one thing that the Marlins are doing to the Braves in this series, they're putting pressure on Atlanta. The Marlins have had at least 1 base runner in 13 of the 15 innings so far in this series.
Out there. Marlins leave a runner. We've played 6. 6-3 Fish. Deadline, which is 4 o'clock Friday. Starting pitching, relief pitching, offense, bench. I would go with C, offense.
It's a good question. I really am interested to see where our fans stand on this one.
Although starting pitching is a little more of a necessity right now than it was, say, 2 weeks ago. With Andrew Miller ineffective and now injured, he's rolled his ankle today and is out for a couple of weeks. Rick Vandenherk has pitched nicely in his 2 starts, but the Marlins are going to need that 5th starter on Saturday. Pinto out of the bullpen.
Well, the guy he's going to face, we've talked about a lot over the last few years. In 37 games against the Marlins, Matt Diaz is a .414 hitter with 7 home runs. So that's the first guy Pinto gets to face.
Hanley has been spectacular out at shortstop tonight. Cubs series starts on Friday night at 7:10. A Fish Friday. All you can eat seats. Play Billy Bingo. Your chance to win an authentic Marlins All-Star poster autographed by Hanley and JJ. 1877 Marlins. The Cubs absolutely dismantled Houston today, 12-0. Soriano hit another homer. And in Chicago,
Are they talking?
well, if so, he's a lucky guy. That was down low from Pinto.
And that's why the other guy looked it up upset.
Yeah.
Here's an indication, I think, Rich, of 2 things when you look at the line of Josh Johnson tonight. 6 innings, gave up 8 hits, 3 runs, had just 1 strikeout and 1 intentional walk. I think it's an indication of a tough lineup, certainly facing the Atlanta Braves, a lot of left-handers. And I don't think he was just perfect tonight. He didn't have his best stuff. He had good stuff, but the location maybe wasn't as consistent as we've seen. And that tells you the kind of pitcher he's become. He was still able to pitch well enough to keep his club in the game.
Now he's dependent on the bullpen to deliver the win. Pinto gets a strike and evens the count at 2-2.
So his ERA now has ballooned to 2.87, Josh Johnson. And if the bullpen can hold the lead, he'll pick up win number 10.
Is it okay to throw his name out there in the National League Cy Young deal? I know that Lincecum and Herron statistically are having incredible years. Chris Carpenter is up there. But
I think you can throw it out there, and certainly maybe in the top 5, but unless things drastically change, I got to think Tim Lincecum or a Matt Cain. Matt Cain has had a terrific year. Pitched 9 shutout innings today, got a no decision. Giants won that game 1-0 against Pittsburgh in extra innings.
Ugla better hurry. 2 down. All right. Well, let's say he's in the others receiving votes category.
Yes.
Fantasy football is about to change, introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Since it's on the card, I'm assuming that customizable is a word.
With 2 months to go, and a lot can change in 2 months. My Cy Young winner right now is Tim Lincecum again.
You know, in a roundabout way, if you're a Marlins fan, you almost want the Dodgers to go get Halladay. And I'll tell you my reason. Because if the Marlins are in the wild card race, Colorado and San Francisco are in that race and above them in the standings. Wouldn't it be great if those 2 teams had to face Halladay in the months of August and September?
Better than the Marlins having to face it.
Right. So now that Cliff Lee is in Philadelphia, if the Dodgers were to get Halladay, yeah, it would help them in the postseason, but it might help the Marlins in the wild card race. Just a thought. In the air and towards the line. Hermida is over and there and makes the catch, because the Marlins don't see the Dodgers again in the regular season. Nice job by Pinto in the 7th. Our game summary.
Well, we've had a little fun with some offense. Hanley Ramirez with a triple driving in Bonifacio. How about Josh Johnson? His second career home run, almost in the same spot as number 1, straightaway center field. It was a 3-run shot. He gave up a solo shot to Casey Kochman. That got the Braves back into things, but you know what? The Marlins turned it right around. Hanley Ramirez with number 16 on the year. The Marlins weren't done with the long ball. How about Dan Uggla, 18th home run, a rocket into left field. A lot of balls jumping out of here tonight. Garrett Anderson hit one off Josh Johnson, a 2-run shot. But right now, the Marlins with a 3-run lead over Atlanta.
And here is Hanley, who has tripled, homered, and bounced out. And he's facing Manny Acosta, the lanky right-hander. Chris Medlin went an inning and a third in relief of pinch hit Kawakami.
Uh-oh, here come Bobby and Bill Hahn again. Remember, earlier in the year in Boston, Bill Hahn ejected Chipper Jones, Eric O'Flaherty, and Bobby Cox.
Here's the previous pitch, which was a ball.
That's borderline, but we've seen many umpires not call that low strike.
And that's low. And it's 2-1. No Marlin has ever hit for the cycle. Of course, the Marlins have had a quartet of no-hitters, but no cycles.
It's funny, you would think if you had to guess a Marlin to hit for the cycle, it would be Hanley Ramirez, but sometimes it comes from an unexpected source.
Well, the wild thing about the triple is that it's his first of the season, with all the speed and power that he's got. This isn't going to help his cause for the cycle. Prado's catch. Here's Craig.
Rich, thanks. We have a winner that named that Marlin Twitter giveaway. The question being, who was the Marlin drove in 15 runs in a series? Happened last year. It was Cody Ross, who had 12 hits and 15 RBIs in July of 2008. We'll be contacting our winners, sending them the autographed baseball from Cody Ross. Tomorrow's our last Name That Marlin giveaway during the series. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SunSportsFoxFL. Tune in tomorrow's game at 6:30. We'll be over on Sun Sports. What a series for Cody Ross.
Craig, do you tweet during the game?
I do. I actually did. I said, not only did I put that Hanley not going to run him, but I said, look for the shuttle at 9:06 tonight, and I did not see it. The shuttle and the space station were supposed to be right over the stadium here.
Craig, have no fear. I think we have it on tape.
Well, I missed it.
There it is.
Wow, that's the space station probably, right?
Sky
Look at that. That is blown up. Look at that. Wow. That looks like the game my kids play, Galaga. But that's it. I looked in the sky for several minutes and I couldn't see it.
You know
I guess
what?
the shuttle was coming first.
It came over while you were tweeting.
No, that was Uggla's home run.
Yeah. It was shuttle first and station 2 minutes later.
That's cool.
Wow.
All right, Cantu with a 1-2 count. And it counts 2-2. When play opened today, Colorado and San Francisco had identical records and were leading the wild card race. The Marlins were 2.5 back. San Francisco has won. They beat Pittsburgh 1-0. Colorado postponed in New York.
As we mentioned, a day-night doubleheader tomorrow at Citi Field.
Cardinals are losing at home to the Dodgers 1-0. Though St. Louis has won the first 2 games of that series. Cubs won, as we told you. They wiped out Houston.
There you go, baby.
That's outside. Cantu walks for the second time tonight. And up comes Hermida. Jeremy tonight is 1 for 3. Has extended his hitting streak to 6 straight. Braves tomorrow night will trot Javier Vasquez out there. He of a nice 2.98 ERA. The Marlins will get start number 3 from Rick Vandenberg, who so far has been steady, 1-0 with a 2.45, Ernie. Chris Volstad makes Friday night start. To be determined on Saturday, and the Cubs have yet to really release their rotation for the weekend series. It's Nolasco on Sunday night against the team that drafted him, the Cubs.
Different time for that game, right? 5 o'clock, 5:05 Sunday night.
Dan Meyer in the bullpen. Marlins trying to go 5-2 against the Braves. It's one of the things that the Fish have done well this year is play against the East. 20-13 against the East. The Braves aren't bad either. They're 19-14. As you would expect, the Phillies 25-15. Ball in the dirt. McCann picks it up and throws him out. That's a great play by the all-star catcher of the Braves.
Yeah, just quick reactions by McCann. Blocks it well. Mask comes off. Ball comes right back to him. And right there to Escobar for the tag. Just a perfect throw. Terrific play by Brian McCann. You know, I talked about teams against their division. Of course, when we were in Los Angeles, the Dodgers 30-12 in their division against the West. But you're talking about San Diego and Arizona, 2 teams at the bottom have not played well.
Marlins are a game over 500 against the West. and still have 3 left with the Padres, 3 left with the Rockies. And I think that's it. Done with the Diamondbacks, done with the Dodgers, and done with the Giants.
Of course, the Phillies are in Arizona again tonight. Jay Happ against Dusmero Petit. Wonder if Jay Happ's feeling a little better. His name was involved in a lot of the rumors, and all of a sudden, the Phillies acquiring Cliff Lee, and Jay Happ is still a Philly.
You know, and I talked about it last week. It still seems odd to me, the whole Pedro Martinez hoopla. Yes, I'm coming in, I'm signing, here I am, I'm making starts, take my picture. Yeah, I'll be ready in about 3 weeks, I'm coming in to save the day. And it's like, you're thinking to yourself, all right, do they slide, does he even get in the rotation? Or does he pitch out of the bullpen?
So what kind of an investment is that for the Phillies? They dished out, what, $1 million?
It's at least insurance policy,
yeah,
for a payroll that's up around $115. It's not a bad flyer to take. But do you go with the 4 lefties and Blanton, or do
Blanton's been throwing well?
Oh, I know. Do you throw? I'm saying, well, Blanton's in there, but it would be one of the 4 lefties that you would bump out.
Well, the only one that would be bumped out would be Jamie Moyer. However, I mean, the Marlins would like that.
See, I think the Marlins should acquire Moyer just so they don't have to face him for the rest of the season or next year. It's just. There's a strike to Oakland. 13,518 in attendance tonight. One and one.
Hey, if you took a Moyer out, though, he can't pitch out of the bullpen. So I think Pedro's the one who goes to the bullpen. Cole Hamels throwing well now. He had a good game last night. Hamels last night in Arizona, 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run. Had 9 strikeouts.
Do you think Pedro could close?
Well, I don't know. I think he could, but Brad Lidge is probably their weakest link right now in their pitching.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Uggles pop out into shallow center, and Escobar runs it down. So the Marlins done here in the 7th. Going to the 8th. Fish up 6-3. Brought to you by Just for Man Hair Color, Braves all-time leaders. Look at Mike Remlinger at 137. Just as Miller relievers keep their team in the game, you two can stay in the game with Just for Man hair color.
Boy, there was a few years back where it seemed like Remlinger would pitch every game against the Marlins.
Marlins make a defensive change. Brett Carroll in right field, and we're assuming a double switch, which would put Meyer, as in Dan, in Hermita's spot, 5th in the order.
A couple of things this could tell you. Obviously, Freddie makes this move defensively, but it also, if he chooses, depending on how Meyer pitches this inning, he could leave Meyer in for 2 innings here.
Chipper Jones takes inside. Well, certainly Freddie has had to be creative at the back of his bullpen and in the middle of his bullpen, for that matter. The nice thing is he's got so many versatile guys that may not be lights out closers but are capable bridges, 7th or 8th inning guys.
And guys who get both lefties and righties out. We've talked about that with Pinto and Meyer. And then even Kiko Calero. Lefties hitting just 159 against Kiko.
Meyer missing inside. He's got 3-0 on Chipper Jones. If you asked a big league manager, choose between having rotten setup men and a lights out closer, or great setup men and a shaky closer, I bet you the manager would choose the latter.
Yeah, because you got to get to that closer.
Right. And you can always use the setup man if the closer isn't getting it done.
Well, the start is not the way Freddie mapped it out. The leadoff walk to Chipper Jones. Saw Brendan Donnelly getting loose.
That, I think, has been...
See Freddie saying, look out for the bunt. Remember we saw McCann try that the other night? He knows that the Braves need base runners. So with the shift on, we saw McCann a couple of times foul off pitches, just trying to push a bunt up that third baseline.
I think the walks of late, one of the reasons why Freddie has been reluctant to close with Meyer, because Dan over the last 2 or 3 weeks has had some early walks in his appearances, and he's walked Chipper and fallen behind McCann 1-0. Did you hear McCann?
I don't think Bill Hahn liked the response from Brian McCann.
Get off your knees, Lou.
1-1.
Bobby may get in on this conversation soon.
I think they may have had something to argue about, too. And one's out.
So much of that strike, though, goes to the way John Baker framed it and caught it.
Which isn't easy with a lefty throwing a cutter on that side of the plate, because it's naturally running away. Three guys on the right side of the infield. Ugla, Hanley, Cantu. Big, big double play.
You thought it'd never come? There it is, our checkers double play. 4-6-3 with the shift on and turned beautifully. Dan Ugla, good feed. Hanley dancing out of the way. And 2 quick outs, and the conversation continued, by the way, when McCann went by home plate. He had a few more words for Bill Hahn.
Well, this guy's been, not that guy, Bobby Cox has been certainly legendary in Atlanta.
McCann said, yeah, it was outside, and Bobby said, that bad?
this guy at the plate has been an issue for the Marlins. And it's Garrett Anderson. The home run in the 9th inning. 2 hits last night. A double and a homer tonight. Time called, and here we go.
The conversation continues. And again, we told you this goes back to an incident in Boston when Bill Hahn tossed O'Flaherty, Chipper Jones, and Bobby.
And I don't think Hahn was coming after Bobby. I think he was coming after McCann.
And I think Bobby's trying to protect McCann.
Right.
Yeah. Not to say this conversation won't elevate. Yeah, he's just trying to keep McCann in the game right now. Now he's going to his scorecard. That leads me to believe he may have thrown McCann out.
Either that or he's getting Bobby's email address.
He's going to tweet him. Bobby, what's on your blog?
Bobby, can I put you on my Facebook page?
He's gone too. Hey, you can see that one coming all the way.
I take that as a no.
Well, McCann's still got the gear on. He's putting the gear on. This is just not a good matchup. Bobby Cox and Bill Hahn.
There's McCann continuing to chirp.
Yeah, McCann came over. You could tell he went to Bobby and said it was way outside. You saw Bobby say, I know. And then I could hear from down here, you know, it almost sounded like a fan, but it was obviously somebody from the Braves bench, you know, some chipping. And then I allowed "you're terrible." And I didn't hear any expletives. I just heard a "you're terrible." And that seemed to be the final straw. But you could see that one coming. I guess it looks like, though, with McCann, you know, he's got the equipment still on it. Is he still in the game?
I'm assuming he is because he's got the equipment ready to go.
I don't think it was Bobby Cox who yelled that either.
Here's the 1-2.
Obviously, Bobby not a fan of the mustache.
Well, Bobby Cox has been tossed.
Toss me out then.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And
all right.
Bobby Cox has been tossed.
Yeah, you could read his lips.
More than any manager in Major League history. And a lot of those were for that reason, to protect his player.
And Bobby's also 4th on the all-time wins list.
Do you think Bobby will ask an umpire to introduce him in Cooperstown?
That would be appropriate.
Here's the 2-2. Ooh. Full count, 3-2.
Come on, Blue.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you can't get both of them.
Garrett Anderson,
Well, this guy's got a sweet swing.
is tearing it up.
We've missed over the years seeing that swing with him being all the way in Anaheim with the Angels.
He has such quiet hands, and as you pointed out, just such an
it's
easy swing.
The last 13 years, he's averaged 36 doubles a year. And look, very quiet. Just reach it. You know, the bottom half kind of opened up, but the hand stayed back. Two doubles and a home run for Garrett Anderson.
Here comes Freddie. And he's on his way out, and he's going into the bullpen. And so Dan Meyer exits. Here's our Marooney. Call to the bullpen. South of Aventura Mall, 18667 My Audi today, and by KFC and the new Kentucky Grilled Chicken. Unthink and taste the unfried side of KFC.
Are Cookie and Raul going with the unfried side? Or are they going with the grilled lately?
I think so. I think that's why Raul and Cookie a little slimmer.
Yeah, leaner.
Yes.
Cookie looks lean, yeah.
Leaner and meaner in a good way. Brendan Donnelly takes over. Donnelly gets Escobar with Kutchman on deck. Escobar 2 hits last night, 0 for 3 tonight. Ground ball, Hanley in the hole, and a flip and a tag.
Good play. Heads up by Hanley Ramirez.
That was going to be a tough out at first. Instead, Hanley goes the short way, and Donnelly escapes. Jaguar dealer or on JaguarUSA.com.
Well, he's been terrific. Just a heads-up play to that last one. He finished things off, but Brian McCann didn't finish things off with Bill Hahn. When he came out to get ready for the next inning, he continued his conversation, and it didn't take long before he was gone, and we'll join Bobby Cox.
And so David Ross takes over behind the plate.
I think if it were earlier in the game, we would probably see a little better heads prevail on McCann's part to stay in the game, keep himself in the game. But here with the Braves getting one more shot offensively, he just had to unload one more time.
Fans reacting on that pitch. Anytime a pitcher throws a breaking ball and it comes close to a hitter, he's not throwing at him. On the first in time to get Cody Ross. And so Baker comes up, 6-3 ball game. Marlins on top. Chino Kadahia is on his way out.
Chino, the acting manager right now, the skipper, so he makes the call for the left-hander.
Kadahia, his third year as bench coach of the Braves. Zarmaruni called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call?
Their bullpen. Boone Logan comes in.
Good baseball name, Boone Logan. Drops down, tough on lefties. Gives lefties different angles. And you can tell the importance of the game with the move made to get this matchup with the Marlins up 3.
Marlins and Braves entered play last night with identical records. Both close to the wild card. Baker right now having a conversation. I'm not sure if that's with Ross or if it's with Bill Hahn, but they kind of had a sly smile.
I'm guessing with David Ross, and there are rumors buzzing around that David Ross already had the gear on and was getting loose in the Braves dugout. So
you think McCann tipped him off and said,
I think that was premeditated. Yeah.
Watch this.
He probably told Ross, get loose.
Bake drills it to right. And a 1-for-4 night. Bake extends his hitting streak now to 7 games.
And gets it off the tough lefty, Boone Logan.
Here comes Wes Helms. This is a matchup the Marlins like now, with Helms coming up against the lefty.
Which is interesting, and we've seen Freddie do this occasionally. Remember when Brett Carroll came in the game, it was not a double switch. So we had the pitcher batting in this spot, Donnelly. And we assumed, and that's what we get, Rich, you and I, when we assume, we always get in trouble. And so it was not a double switch, and that allows, Freddie does that because it will allow him sometimes to hit who he wants to, depending on the situation.
So that would have tipped us off that Meyer was just a 1-inning guy.
Yes, yes.
The outset of the telecast, we showed you the Marlins bench. There's Calero and there's Nunez. Literally, we showed the bench to illustrate what Ross Glode and Wes Helms and Brett Carroll have done for this ball club. Glode's walk-off homer last night. Glode and Helms have been a dynamic duo of pinch hitters. From the left side, from the right side. Most teams are happy to have one guy like that as the guy, your best pinch hitter. And the Marlins have 2 options with these 2 veterans.
And again, your goal as a manager is to always put your player in a position to succeed.
All right, here's again
second in pinch hits
coming into today.
Third in pinch hit RBIs. Second with runners in scoring position. Boy, those are good numbers from that bench.
Helms swings and misses.
Well, you make the move, you put Wes in a situation to succeed. And the reason I said that is because nobody's warming in the Braves dugout. So Freddie knew that he would have his right-hander off the bench and he would get a shot against the left-hander. That time didn't work out.
Chris Coughlin now. Remember, this was a Josh Johnson start, and a Josh Johnson 3-run homer is the difference in this game right now. And JJ absolutely crushed it to center field. Almost the same spot he hit his other homer this year. Coughlin rolls out to Kochman. We'll show both of those on Marlins Live. Leo Nunez enters in the 9th. to you by Prestige Audi, 2 minutes south of Aventura Mall, 18667. My Audi today. Crack a lap just like that. Josh Johnson is center field. That is big boy territory in this ballpark. And at 6'7", he would qualify. So 6 innings with 3 earned runs, a 3-run homer. That was Josh's night. Nunez can finish the night by getting the 3 outs here in the 9th inning. Leo last night, of course, worked the 9th. It wasn't a save situation. If it was, it would have been a blown save, because he gave up the home run to Garrett Anderson and gave up the lead. Kochman, Church, pitcher spot. On the ground, big hop up for Ugla, 1 out.
That's always a good start. Marlins trying to go 7-1 over their last 8 games. The other thing, and we've talked about the defense, last time the Marlins made an error was the first game in San Diego, first game of that series. That's a weak chop.
Don't taunt the chop, though. Marlins got a lot of games against the Braves left this season.
Oh, yeah.
There's a long way to go. This is only game number 7 of 18. On the ground, this one stays down for Ugla. And Nunez rolls a couple of outs, and the Marlins are an out away from taking the first 2 games of this series.
Dan Ugla's had a busy night out there.
Come on, Johnson, make this quick.
Kelly Johnson is going to pinch hit.
Johnson, who we have seen as the Braves starting second baseman the last couple of seasons, has lost that job. Martin Prado has taken it away from him. Nunez with the count now 1-1. Marlins trying to get win number 10 for Josh Johnson. Send themselves 5 games over. 1-2. Johnson gets a piece. Carlos Tosca last night, the winning manager, so to speak. Freddie's 1-game suspension. One-two from Nunez. Change-up, and he got hurt on that pitch last night. Ouch! A dive by Brett Carroll right on the warning track. Johnson around second, and he's headed for third, and he gets there. That can't feel good to dive and get a face full of rubber.
I was impressed with the throw. A little rubber, but watch how quickly Brett Carroll gets up. Kelly Johnson can run, has good speed. Well, he pops right up, gets the ball, and then a strong, accurate throw. 1 hop to third.
It's twice in 2 nights now to a left-handed hitter, Tommy, that Nunez has come with a changeup and been hurt by it on 2 strikes.
Yeah, you mentioned Anderson last night and Kelly Johnson there.
0-1. All right, so he's got 2 strikes now on a left-handed hitter. Let's see if he stays away from the changeup. Closes. Marlins win it. 6-3 the final. What a night for Josh Johnson. His 10th win, a 3-run homer. Big night for Hanley. With the bat, a home run, an RBI